program was pre-recorded.
You've entered the Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher, political analyst and socio-political prophet, and Kevin Gallagher, TV and podcast host and opinionated jackhole. So settle in, grab a beverage. It's time to talk some politics. It's Fletch Nation. Now here are the boys.
Hello once again. Welcome into another edition of Fletch Nation. As I count them, this is episode 12.
Kevin.
12. Hi, Roy. How are you?
I'm doing well. 12? That'd be 3 months.
Yeah.
3 months? We're still on there?
Yeah, we haven't been canceled yet, so that's amazing.
Let's don't talk.
Yeah, exactly. Knock Formica.
Yeah, knock on Formica.
Welcome to another program, and as we record this, it is Wednesday, the 14th of September, and we are coming to you from the Old School Barbecue Smokehouse on Corsi Boulevard in the state capital, Baton Rouge.
You can see the logo right there on the left corner of your screen.
Oh yeah, and let me tell you something. If you want yourself some damn good barbecue, I mean seriously, damn good barbecue, you need to get yourself hence to Old School Barbecue Smokehouse.
Well, Kevin, things were up and down this week, weren't they?
Yes, they were. It's been
they were down mainly at Wall Street.
Yeah,
about 1,200 points.
I took a look at my retirement savings statement. Ooh, boy.
You took a bath, huh?
My market investments have taken a huge hit. Huge.
Well, there's a reason for that, Kevin. Because since Joe Biden's been president, the market's down 5,000 points.
Oh.
5,000. Almost.
That's got to be some kind of a presidential record.
Almost 16, 18%. Okay, it's pretty bad.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. I think it's about 17%, frankly. So one of the things that comes out of this market decline, one of the reasons for it was because the inflation rate, which economists had assumed would fall below 7%, and had sort of a consensus had built around that, was still 8.3 as opposed to 8.4. So we're still experiencing 40-year kind of inflation.
That's 0.1 down. Yay, team.
1/10.
Joe's not spiking the ball over 10%.
It wasn't a point down. It was 1/10 of a point.
1/10 of a point.
Yeah. And the core CPI, the core consumer price index, which is food and energy basically, we saw gasoline drop some. We have seen gasoline has dropped. Energy costs have not. Natural gas is going up. Yep. And so it went up from 5.9 to 6.3, which means, frankly, what that really means is the price of food is driving that increase in that core CPI, which means that people, when they go to the grocery store, are feeling this. Now, it's important politically. I bring it up, I mean, obviously it's important economically, but it's important politically because there have been a number of people worried that the Republicans have put too much in the inflation basket, and that perhaps because the price of gasoline was going down, things were getting better. Yeah,
not necessarily.
Things are getting better. Well, that's not what the polling data suggests, except with Democratic voters. They seem to think abortion's more important than inflation. But we've discussed the different worldviews that people are holding right now. The other part of it is, politically, is that in terms of these national races, in terms of congressional races, in terms of the midterm, we have seen they thought that a lower inflation rate would obviously affect it in a positive way for Biden. But that's not what's happening. It's about a 5% spread on the generic ballot in favor of the Republicans. There's been some polls that say it's even. Democrats are slightly ahead, but generally it's about a 4 to 5 point spread, which is a significant number. And at the same time, the Senate races are closing. There's an effort by CNN today to write a story that says the Democrats, the Republicans nominated this guy, sort of a far-rightist guy for the U.S. Senate last night in New Hampshire. And the argument is that, well, there are these Senate candidates now that the Republicans are going to lose with that are sort of the Trumpite endorsed candidates. Well, they say Herschel Walker. Well, Walker's ahead by 4 or 5 now in Georgia.
Yep.
And he's doing well. They say Oz. CNN wanted to say Oz was down by 5, but the truth is, everything I'm seeing now is at 3 or 2. That race is close to almost a dead heat in Pennsylvania. They say J.D. Vance in Ohio. Well, the truth is, Vance now is rallied back and is slightly ahead, and Masters now, and even in Arizona, is down by only a handful, 3 or 4. So all of these races have closed. Now here's the race I'm watching. I picked up on it. I'm gonna kind of tip people off to it. You'll have to stay up late for this one. But there's a Senate race, a U.S. Senate race in the state of Washington. Patty Murray against a woman named Smiley. The Republican is named Smiley. This Republican is a war veteran, pilot, all kind of stuff the Republican is. And she is running a really, really aggressive campaign against Patty Murray. And I think it's going to be a major upset. This is my gut in the state of Washington. I like this woman Smiley's message. It's government reorganization. It's an outsider message. It's taking on all facets of government and saying they ought to be changed, including term limits for Congress. She's running a hell of a good campaign, and she's an attractive woman. She's very bright, and I think that and Patty Murray is kind of old and dull. I mean, really dull. Mm-hmm. I mean, she was dull when she won, but she's gotten just duller as the years have passed. I think that's going to be an upset in the state of Washington, which would be surprising. Anyway, that's kind of
very surprising for the state of Washington.
Yeah, it is. It's I kind of filled you in real quick by using the inflation numbers and the drop in the stock market to talk about the whole political environment. So
it's all connected.
Yeah, well, it's all connected. It's all very much connected. And the direction of the country right now, according to Rasmussen, is around 30, which is a little higher in favorability than it has been in the past. 30% saying it's going in the right direction, 70 saying it's going in the wrong. Well, it's actually improved to get to 30.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, Joe Biden and the Democrats have an issue here, and you add a lot of other things into it. Particularly, you have the Vice President of the United States and the press secretary for the president saying that the border is all secure.
Yeah, I saw that.
I just, we're not supposed to believe our lying eyes? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
The Eagles? Wasn't that who that was?
Yeah. Who are you going to believe? You're going to believe the President of the United States or your own lying eyes?
Right. And the videos and everything else that comes from down there. But that's kind of where we are right now in terms of the national environment.
Time to take a break, and we will do that. Take care of a little bit of business, and when we come back, we got a lot more ground to cover, including a visit this hour with John Carmouche, coastal attorney. That's coming up on Fletch Nation, right here on the Pelican.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis. not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Your favorite season is back, and now's the time you can score savings at the Team Automotive Group. You can sell your vehicle to us, and we'll pay you top value. Or buy here and get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Score VIP service and save at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Caught spiders?
Premier Pest Services.
Segment 2, Fletch Nation. Glad to have you with us. He's Roy Fletcher, and I am Kevin Gallagher, and I can always tell because I can see my name right up underneath me on that television monitor up there. If not for that, I wouldn't have a clue.
Kevin, well, we all should say that. Kevin, last week I said we were talking about the Biden speech. You know, the speech from
Der Fuhrer.
The speech from Purgatory?
Yeah.
Or wherever it was, speech from hell. And one of the things I told you is that I thought that they had Poland that said for him to do that he could do it and get away with it. Rasmussen checked to see if, well, they didn't say it, well, to see if Fletcher's correct. But they decided to find out.
And,
you know, what he said was that Trump and MAGA are extremists, and they threaten the very foundation of the republic. 48% agree with that, 47% disagree.
Wow. That's pretty even split, my friend.
Right down the middle, just like everything else in America. Well, just like everything else. So that was about base.
But of that 48%, though, I got to wonder how many people just don't want to be wrong. They don't want to be. They just don't want to believe that they could possibly be on the wrong side of things. And that goes for whether you're at the conservative side or the liberal side. You don't want to believe for 1 minute that your guys could be wrong.
Well, I don't know, but the point of it is that's pretty extremist language, and I wouldn't agree with that if they'd have said it about Sanders or one of those nuts. So I mean, or AOC.
I've never seen anything. So I thought that Barack Obama was the most divisive president in our history.
Joe takes the cake. No?
Joe wants the title, I guess.
Yeah, Joe wants the thing. The couple of other little interesting tidbits before I get to the next topic. Median household income has, over the last year, fallen about 4%. 3 or 4.
Believable.
Okay, that's believable, right? The Russians, you have uncovered an article from Just the News, John Solomon, today, that says that the Russians paid Igor Danchenko. Now, Danchenko is the guy that Durham has indicted for all kind of shenanigans with the Russian hoax. that we experienced. Dashenko was supposedly the guy giving the information to the people that wrote the dossier. All of it basically fake as hell. Well, now we find out, according to John Solomon today, that John Durham, in his petition to the courts yesterday, identified Dashenko as being paid by, what, the Russian Communist Party?
No, I don't think that was what I read.
Who was it that, who was paying him?
Starts with an F, FBI, is that the?
It was the FBI was paying John Durham, the special prosecutor on that case, has identified this guy who's under indictment, Igor Danchenko, as being a paid informant by the FBI to provide fake information on the dossier, because that's what his whole role was. I get confused when I think about the FBI. As we know, this week or over the weekend, some 50 subpoenas were issued to Trump people all over the country. Okay? One of those, but it wasn't about that, but it was about something else. One of those was Mike Lindell.
Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy. They seized his phone. The FBI took his phone.
He was on a hunting trip early in the morning and drove up to get breakfast at one, like a McDonald's, and he was surrounded by cars.
Which means they were following him.
That means they were following. And he said, well, it's either bad guys or it's the FBI. Well, maybe it was both. And they seized his telephone because they said he had a picture of somebody in Colorado doing something to a voting machine.
What?
Yeah, that's what they said. Okay. I don't know. But
how did they know if they hadn't seized the phone yet?
Well, then they obviously had already, they didn't need the phone to see the phone. Is that correct?
They already invaded the phone and seen what was on the phone.
They've already invaded the phone.
They needed to actually get the phone so that they can then say, we have the evidence.
And then the other thing I think is interesting is that the comparison in justice here, that's kind of interesting. The Jane's Revenge, which is a group of leftists who have been attacking what pro-life clinics.
Yes.
They've done about 16 of those, apparently pretty badly, and the FBI has made no arrest in any of it yet.
Of course not.
They know who the group is. They've made no arrests. Okay. And then we find out that the Department of Justice wants to do a plea deal with terrorists from 9/11 that were all involved in. So let's see now. These people that are, messing up pro-life places, and then these people that messed up the World Trade Center, they get off. But Trump, on the other hand, is a criminal.
Yep.
We're going to deliver 50 subpoenas to people around Trump.
Yep.
Now, apparently what they investigate, the claim is they're investigating that they were getting money into one of these PACs to fight because they were claiming that the election was rigged. They were getting money in that, and they didn't spend it on that, so they're claiming that it was they're going to try to claim that it was some kind of fraud. So here we go again.
In other words, grasping at straws. Anything and everything. Anything and everything.
This week also there was, and when we come back I want to talk about this more, but this week also Trump's lawyers, I think on Monday, responded to the government's assertions with respect to the special master. Now they've apparently agreed on a special master. Mm-hmm. Trump gave them one from the state of New York, who's a former he's a senior level federal judge up there, who has an impeccable record. Amazing, huh? And the DOJ has actually agreed that they can go with this guy as a special master. Now, the DOJ on Monday filed a petition, Trump did, that in response to the DOJ saying that they shouldn't be a special master. And the petition was enlightening. And it gave you an outline of what the Trump case is. And when you read it, you suddenly realize that maybe the press has not reported this very well.
You think?
And with that, I'll leave it till we come back. And
maybe not. Maybe they haven't done such a good job.
In my amazement. We'll be back in a moment, and I'm going to talk about this petition because it's important to you that you hear.
It's Fletch Nation.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The 2022 Mazda CX-5 with iActive all-wheel drive and available turbo engine. It truly ignites the senses.
Save on your new CX-5 right now during the season of discovery at Team Mazda.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
We are back. It is Fletch Nation, and we're so glad to have you with us. Once again, coming to you from the Old School Barbecue Smokehouse on Coursey Boulevard.
Kevin, I want to give you some of the price increases year over year.
Oh boy, this ought to be enlightening.
Yeah, this is year over year.
You're going to like this.
Year over year. Cash 44% up. Airline tickets up 33%. Used cars up 23%. Hotels up 23%. Suits up 23%. Bacon's up 18%. Orange is up 17, tires are up 16, furniture up 15. Let's go down to dry cleaning. It's up 10, eggs up 10, cereals up 10, 12. I mean, you just go down the line.
Everything up.
Everything is up. And it's all double digit, by the way.
You know, in one of our earlier segments, we were talking about the correlation between inflation and the fact that gas prices are coming down. Gas prices are going to continue to come down right up until November the 8th. I guarantee you that. And that's in order to try to offset what could be a big, I want to call it a big red wave, let's call it a large, powerful ripple of
or
redness.
something. We don't know what it's
But
gonna
as
be.
I was talking to Roy during the break, it's like, have you noticed though that diesel fuel is still sky high? And everything that gets delivered in this country is delivered by something that burns diesel fuel.
Trucks are
That's why you're paying so much.
railroads. Railroads, of course, we're about to have a railroad strike, so that's
about to have a railroad strike.
That's going to help with the supply chain problem.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's going up that you don't think of is natural gas.
Oh, gas is sky high.
It's rocketing. It's rocketing. And so folks, we got a mess here. So anyway, I want to get back to the Trump thing real quick, try to take you through it. So this petition says that at the core of this fight between Trump and the DOJ, they call it a document storage dispute.
A document storage.
That's interesting. And that
we don't like you storing documents at your house.
That's right. And that has spiked out of control. The DOJ had claimed that the judge ordering a special master was going to upset the notion of a national security assessment. The Trump people said that's not true. That the judge said you can proceed with that. I went back and looked. The judge said clearly they can proceed with that. The Trump people says that no evidence that the classified records, that there were classified records ever disclosed to anyone. No record whatsoever there. In other words, there's no evidence. Well, they may be stored there, but there's no evidence that anybody saw them, but whoever was managing the room, or if anybody. And then they say that under the Presidential Records Act, and this is where they go off on, under the Presidential Records Act, that the president has almost unlimited authority to decide what is presidential papers and what are personal papers.
Okay.
And that he decided. And also under that act, there's no provision whatsoever authorizing any criminal enforcement. In other words, the only enforcement in that act is what? You can't run for public office.
Yeah. Please go away forever.
We keep getting back to that, don't we?
Please go away forever.
Yes, and they make a point that the Presidential Records Act, the documents belong either to the archives under the Presidential Records Act or to the president, but no place in the Presidential Records Act says that the DOJ should have those records. And that's what the DOJ is claiming they need because they have a criminal investigation going on.
Yeah.
Well, but if they have a criminal investigation over the holding of the presidential records at Mar-a-Lago, why did it take 18 months to enforce that? Why did it take 18 months? Because they were negotiating back and forth? No. If these records were so highly classified, there is no negotiation. Does that make sense?
Makes sense
We just
to me.
come and we're getting all of the records. Y'all shut up. But there was obviously a prohibition to them doing that, and it was the Presidential Records Act and his classification or categorization of the presidential records as being presidential or being personal. That's what's going on here. Now, they make 4 points about the arguments of the Department of Justice. One is that the Department of Justice presumes the outcome. In other words, they say that the Department of Justice presumed that because the tank teams separated the stuff, that nobody else has any right to it, including the court, and that's the wrong presumption. That's what they presume.
What?
Yeah. So, and that they assume that when something is marked classified, that it remains classified. Well, just because it's marked does not mean that it remains. Because why? They can declassify.
A president can
Right,
declassify
that's my
documents.
point.
Now, the problem I have is if a president can declassify documents, how come the next president can in theory, come back and reclassify those documents?
And that is something that will be, I think, have to be litigated because, that, again, I'll say this again, I've said it before, it sounds like ex post facto. Okay? In other words, you commit a crime, but it's not a crime when you commit it, but the legislature's so incensed by it, they come back and pass a law that makes it a crime, and then they come and indict you for committing the crime that wasn't a crime when you committed it. Yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with there. The third thing they say, look, that the Department of Justice ignores the Presidential Records Act in the sense that it claims that the president, meaning Trump, has no access rights to this. And they say all of the access rights the president retains. He retains those access rights to those documents, particularly when he categorizes them as personal. And finally, they say, look, the government argument, this causes irreparable harm to the public and to the nation. Well, if it causes irreparable harm now, what did it cause 18, 20 months ago? Did it cause irreparable harm then? And if it did cause irreparable harm then, why wasn't the documents obtained then? Why weren't they just gone? Look, get a search warrant. You can get a search warrant. Just go down there and get them. And you don't have any arguments. But something was holding them back. And you know what that something was?
What?
The Presidential Records Act.
Yeah.
And that's what they have ignored in this whole thing. That thing operates, that statute operates as sort of a brake, a brake, you know, like a car brake, on that kind of behavior. And they didn't do it. They tried to negotiate it because that had been the standard, the way they have gone about this for a long, long time. Suddenly, the standard changed. And then Archives turned over the investigation to the DOJ, who immediately brought in the FBI. Trump made the crazy speech one night, and the next day, I believe the raid occurred at Mar-a-Lago. Did it not? I'm trying to remember how that was sequenced. I can't remember, but I'll tell you what. I'll look it up when we take this break, but we'll be right back. Stick with us. Did we get off?
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Your favorite season is back, and now's the time you can score savings at the Team Automotive Group. You can sell your vehicle to us, and we'll pay you top value. Or buy here and get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Score VIP service and save at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Hey, welcome back to Fletch Nation. And we are back once again, and we were kind of working with memory, talking about some dates, the Mar-a-Lago raid, Trump's big
It was
speech.
like the Mar-a-Lago raid was 8th of August, 8/8, and the speech in Philadelphia was 9/1. So it's about a 3-week difference. And I just couldn't remember. But
You
I
can't
had
remember everything. Come on.
I had it in my head that I had it right.
That's
But
why we have these things. You can look up anything on these things.
anything whatsoever.
I love
that you would
computer
wish
in
to
my
know.
pocket, man. I love it.
That's all you need is right there. So Kevin, that tends to cover the gamut of.
Well, I wanted to see how you felt about
presentation.
some of the political topics that are a little bit closer to home.
Let's go through those.
Well, the one thing was Gary Chambers did a radio appearance on Jim Inkster's radio show in Baton Rouge earlier this week. And
The esteemed Jim Inkster's radio.
The esteemed Jim, fine man, Jim Inkster. But during that interview, he basically said that he was cross with the Democrats for not backing him, choosing Luke Mixon for an endorsement over him.
What they did to Chambers in that was really very, very ugly.
Well, Chambers actually polls higher than the person they endorsed.
Well, of course.
And Gary's not wrong about that. He said that.
No, but they had the votes to do it on the floor, or they did it in executive committee, but they wouldn't allow it to get to the floor or something. They basically, I'm going to say it this way, rather simple vernacular. They screwed Chambers.
I think that even for the Democrats, Gary Chambers is a little bit of a hot potato for them. Gary's very flamboyant. He's very outspoken. His YouTube campaign videos, one showed him burning a rebel flag, which I think a lot of people in this day and age don't have that big a problem with. But his next YouTube campaign video showed him smoking a blunt, smoking marijuana.
Was he smoking a blunt?
Yeah, and he was
or marijuana.
Well, blunt's marijuana.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't see how I out of my. No, I'm joking.
Hey, I'm from the street.
I just spilled water all over the table.
But Gary's not everybody's cup of tea, and I don't think he's the Democrat Party's cup of tea in general. But he made a good point. He said,
apparently he is.
In the 2016 election, 585,000 black Louisianans voted for Hillary Clinton. And he said those 585 would have voted for a Democrat running for Senate in that election. John Kennedy won that election. If they would have had a Democrat that they could believe in. But they didn't. He says if he would have been running, he might have gotten 585,000 more votes. And he thinks, he said in this interview, that if he makes a runoff this fall with John Kennedy, he'll beat him. Thoughts?
Well, I think that first that he's going to make the runoff, if there is a runoff. It'll be Gary Chambers in the runoff. I'm not certain there's going to be a runoff. But if there is, I think it'll be Chambers in the runoff.
Now, you're not throwing any shade on Luke Mixon or what's the other woman? Sarita Stibe is the other woman.
No, I'm giving the man his due. Chambers is going to be in the runoff. Okay, I'll make that prediction right now.
People follow him. People pay attention to him. If you check out his social media numbers, they're huge.
He'll be in the runoff, and he won't win against Kim. Okay, that'll be my prediction to you right now.
Okay,
but
I'm going to say it doesn't. I'm going to say no runoff. I'm going to go out on a limb and say no runoff. Kennedy wins outright.
That's what I think too. Okay, I said if there is a runoff, I happen to believe Kennedy wins in the primary. Second to Kennedy will be Gary Chambers. Okay, if Democrats, it sounds to me like y'all have a little problem in your party.
Well, I think what we're seeing, and I may be wrong, but I think what we're seeing is that Democrats don't necessarily represent the minority vote as much as they want the minority vote to think they represent the minority vote. Am I being fair with that?
Well, I think when there's a clear distinction between a Gary Chambers and a Mixon, I think that the Chambers wing of the party wins. And I'll tell you why. And it's been coming for a long time. Whites in the Democratic Party are the minority. That's a fact. Just a fact.
But they still seem to hold the statewide party power, though.
Oh, you think?
At least for now.
Yeah, they do, don't they? And that's a tussle right there. That's what I'm saying. There's a tussle. That's not unusual in the Democratic Party. That whites in a state are the minority of the party. When you count up the actual votes, they vote Democratic. And if you go to the governor's race here, and you say Governor Edwards gets 92% of the African American vote, and gets 30% of the white vote, well, that's 21% total of the vote is white, and 90% of 33% is around 28% with 29%, which is African American. 29 to 21. There's a big difference there. And it shows you that African Americans make up the majority of the Democratic Party. And that's what Gary Chambers is saying.
And he's not wrong.
And that he got screwed in the nomination process is clearly, I think if you go look at the numbers, it's clearly a fact.
The party's officially endorsed Luke Mixon in that race. The governor has endorsed Luke Mixon in that race.
Yeah.
The head of the House Democratic Caucus, who is a black man, Sam Jenkins, I believe is his name, Shreveport, has endorsed Luke Mixon in that race. And I interviewed Representative Jenkins last week and asked him, was there any particular reason why he didn't endorse Gary? And he didn't. He talked more about Luke than he did Gary. He didn't want to talk about Gary. Well, although the question was, why not Gary?
Yeah, well, because they don't want to engage in that conversation because it shows you what the problem is in the party. They have that split. They have that distinction, and it's among Democrats, they frankly think that the only way they can win is that way.
Okay, can I hit you with another one?
Yeah.
Recently, Attorney General Jeff Landry had his annual alligator hunt fundraiser. He invites a lot of deep-pocketed, well-heeled Republican donors.
It raised a lot of money.
Don Trump Jr. was there. His girlfriend, paramour, the very lovely Kimberly Guilfoyle, was there, and also spotted there.
Did you meet her?
I wasn't there. Are you kidding? They're not going to invite me.
I thought maybe you win.
No, I don't have any money to donate to these events.
I mean, you were speaking so highly of her. I thought maybe you just took a mad rush at her.
A fellow could do worse than Kimberly Guilfoyle, okay? But spotted at this event hats and T-shirts that said Team Landry Governor.
Yeah, well, he's already sent out a fundraising piece.
But still no official.
Is
he going to wait till after the November 8th election to make an official announcement?
I think he's about as close to making one now as he's ever been. Clearly, he's running for governor.
Pretty clearly.
And clearly, Elizabeth. I went to law school with her. Her name just escaped me. She's running for Attorney General as his candidate.
I've forgotten her name.
Well,
his Solicitor General. I've forgotten her name.
Yeah, the Solicitor General.
Yeah.
Right.
Murrell. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, Murrell.
Liz Murrell. Thank you very much. Sorry about that.
Murrell, whatever.
I'm getting old.
Okay. Well, we had a real brain one there.
But Jeremy Alford with LawPolitics.com told me until he actually says it, it ain't official. That's what he told me.
Oh, okay, fine. He's running.
More to come. Fletch Nation back with one more segment.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Back with one more bite of the apple here on Fletch Nation this week. Glad to have you with us. As we speak, it is the 14th of September, and we are at the Old School Barbecue Smokehouse on Coursey Boulevard. Whew!
Well,
so I wanted to ask you one.
You got that out of your steam.
Yeah, I did. That's called maintenance.
Kevin's been wanting to say that all day.
I'm just the radio announcer in me just keeps wanting to leap out and take care of what we call maintenance.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't get to ask the one question about the whole Landry thing.
Yes.
So far, Landry's skating around it with T-shirts and hats, no official announcement.
Yeah.
Billy Nungesser's actually spoken about it publicly, but no official announcement. Senator Bill Cassidy's being coy. I think he wants to wait and see how the midterms play out. If Jeff Landry runs for governor, can he win? Do you see a path to victory for Jeff Landry?
Sure, I see a path to victory for anybody right now. But I'll make a prediction, and we won't know if it's true until next year. The governor's not in the race yet.
I think I follow what you're saying. The person who's probably going to win that race hasn't declared anything yet, right?
Probably hadn't even thought about it yet. Or if they have, they haven't told anybody but their wife, assuming they're married.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that could be flat.
Assuming they're married.
Yeah,
he's being coy.
Yeah,
right.
No, but I mean, I'm just saying that I don't think the governor's in the race yet. But given that,
but nobody's in the race yet.
That's correct.
I mean, we've got Landry, and
we know the candidate. I think that I think that there are people like Helen Marino in New Orleans. I think that other people in this state that may be interested in it.
I'm glad you brought up Helena Marino, because what can happen between now and then.
I called her Helen. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's Helena. Huh?
Helena Marino. She was in the state legislature.
I beg your pardon.
She is the mayor pro tem in New Orleans, which means if the current recall effort against LaToya Cantrell is successful, you got Mayor Helena Marino at least until an election. If she's mayor, would she still want to run for a higher office, or would she go, I'm mayor of New Orleans?
Oh, I think she might want to run for mayor. For governor. You know what? We're running up on our thing here.
Okay. Then it's time for our weekly visit with Coastal Attorney John Carmouche. Let's go to that right now.
Well, welcome back. We're with John Carmouche, a well-known coastal and environmental lawyer in Louisiana, a land lawyer. And we've been talking about sort of your past and your education and what sort of brought you to the fight for the coastal Louisiana. There's bigger issues, though, it seems, John. There's a new poll out by the New York Times over the weekend, the Siena poll, Siena College poll, that had 13% of the country in a good mood about the direction of the United States. What do you think about the direction of our country?
I think it's going in the wrong way. I mean, it's too divided, Roy. Too much politics. I grew up in a political family, but also grew up believing in the real world. And I think we've lost the touch of actually working together and putting politics aside. You can have your views, and I believe in strong conservative views myself as a Republican, but I also believe in a real world working together. I give the example that, you know, we show up at work every day. There's so many businesses in Louisiana that are huge and making a large difference in Louisiana. They show up to work every day to work together as a business. They don't show up every day to say, are you a Republican, Democrat, Independent? They show up every day, they work together, and they accomplish huge things in Louisiana. But it just seems like as soon as you turn on the political TV,
when you walk in the state capitol,
it's politics. And everybody forgets that Louisiana needs to be run like a business. And to do that, you have to work together. And I think we've lost that in this state.
I can't think of a way to get it back either. But the fact is that the point that you're making is that it's a necessity.
It's an absolute necessity. This state needs to turn in the direction of working together as a business to bring businesses here and to grow the economy and bring our kids back.
Well, you bring up the economy. I mean, what do you think of the general direction of Louisiana and our economy in Louisiana is right now?
It's terrible. I mean, we're in the 21st century and we're running this state like it's 1950. It's time to change. It's time to be pro-business. It's time to bring our kids back and make them want to come back. And right now, we need dramatic change on education. We need a dramatic change on how we deal with businesses. We need to bring the oil industry back. I mean, everybody says I'm against the oil industry. I'm not against the oil industry.
We talked about that last week. I mean, you're quite the opposite, correct?
I am the opposite, because I believe in, if we zero out the liability, we can bring back...
You mean the sort of the coastal liability?
Clear the coastal liability, clean up this state, and make them want to come back. And we can bring the oil industry back. We have to make the dramatic change in the state that we've needed for a long, long time. And not just because of the oil industry.
That's one of the things that you have talked about that's so different, and that is, for right now, for the Biden administration, they're taking the position that the 5-year plan on offshore drilling, they're just not even going to bring it up anymore. They're not going to discuss it. On the other hand, you've taken the position if you clean up the coast and the liability gets cleaned up, then what you want is an industry that can drill and manufacture and produce, and the liability be gone.
Not only the liability be gone, but there are great operators in the state of Louisiana today. And there are great operators that want to come here in Louisiana.
In the oil and gas industry.
In the oil and gas industry.
Yeah.
And get our industry and our people back to work and do it the right way.
Yeah.
And that's the key, is do it the right way, bring them back, grow the economy with zero liability, and let's move on.
One of the things that has been discussed in the last couple of weeks, Governor Ducey of Arizona has passed what they call the most Education Freedom Choice Act in the country, where basically the money follows the student. rather than going to the county or the school board or what. It follows the student. Wherever the student goes, whatever school the student decides to go to, the money follows. When you say dramatic change from Louisiana in education, that would be something that you'd want to look at, I would assume, huh?
Definitely. I mean, I have to study it, but my position on education is we have to get our kids to want to stay here. And our education, it needs a dramatic change in how we educate our kids, because our kids have to want to be educated. You can't make and force these kids to do something they don't want to do. So there's a lot of things that look at trade schools and getting these kids to be educated on the jobs we have for them in Louisiana. And
market sensitive.
Yeah. And make this a state where we promote working here, not promoting outside of the state.
Right.
So I think all of those programs are great programs to look at, and definitely the state of Louisiana needs a change in education.
But you would say that if you're not teaching the basics and doing the basics, reading, writing, and arithmetic, you're not really accomplishing much, are you?
Correct.
Yeah, that's the kind of dramatic change Louisiana needs. We have a couple of things that I kind of call it the quick round, and we'll go ahead and get into a little bit of that. You give me quick answers to questions that people ask. One is like you say you're a Republican. What's your position like on the Second Amendment?
I'm for it, Roy.
I mean that's pretty much says it all right there. You're for it, you know. What about immigration, illegal immigration, and that sort of thing?
I'm for building the wall. I'm for keeping them out. This is the United States of America, and as long as you legally come here, then I think you should go through the process.
I got you. So now, John, if I've taken my cue properly, we can now go to a break, and we'll be back in a moment. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
So,
see there, I told y'all.
Well, that's fascinating stuff, and we always thank John Carmouche for his time and his insights. And we've got a little over a minute left in the program.
Our man over there was worried about how much time we were going to have. And I said,
kind of funny.
It'll be 80 to 48 seconds.
It's kind of funny because
80 seconds.
We're here, we're looking at you, and we're talking, and Marty is over there, and he's going, just pointing at the clock.
But it's okay.
His job to keep us on time, and we thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're a good man. Charlie Brown.
Well, this has been an interesting hour, to say the least.
I don't know. I know we're just trying to fill in time.
I wonder what will be ahead of us next week when we meet again.
Well, I think we're looking forward to one thing, and that is that the Ukraine seems to be collapsing under the Russians, and then on the other hand, the economy is collapsing under Joe Biden. So other than that, we seem to be kind of following a two-track collapse.
Collapse just seems to be a recurring theme all across America, in our cities, and our counties, and our parishes, and our states.
By the way, I'm happy to see Carolyn Levitt win in New Hampshire. She's 25 years old, and a Trump protege. We'll be back next week. Hang in there with us.
Till then, you take care of yourself. God bless. More of Fletch Nation coming up next week.
Listening to Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher and Kevin Gallagher. Remember, if you heard something that ticked you off, upset your sensibilities, or threatened your precious safe space,
the opinions expressed by the hosts and guests are purely their own and do not reflect those of this radio station or its advertisers.
So if you're calling a lawyer, or planning a boycott, or a cancel campaign, forget about it and join us next week for more Fletch Nation.